This is EC3 with TNA Wrestling, and you are listening to the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show.
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
Celebration of the best guest celebrity on Monday Night Raw, Jon Stewart. The This Is Awesome Wrestling Show dedicates this show to Mr. Stewart by playing his intro for his own show on our show.
Celebrate good guests. Come on.
Finally.
I mean, that's debatable.
Finally. I'm Glenn Moore, joined here by Steve Guy. We're going to talk about that. Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, the Mrs. Niagara commercial. We're going to talk about Reigns versus Rollins, the return of AJ, and NXT in Cleveland. And we will be announcing
winners.
The two winners that will win 2 tickets each to come hang with us and watch NXT in Cleveland this Friday at the Agora Theater. Tickets, I believe, are still available. Tickets might be on sale on Friday.
I think they opened up
as
some
well.
more, yeah.
So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for good tickets, but we're giving away some tickets.
If you win these tickets and you sit near us, no eye contact.
You will not ask for an autograph.
We will not take selfies with you.
You can't. I'm the heel. You're supposed to be the good guy.
I just said no eye contact.
That's heelish.
Why can't I'm supposed to be your advocate?
Very, very heelish. We're also going to have our guest on the show, a big-time guest, a 20-minute conversation with the Mr. Colt Cabana. He is our guest on this week's show. We talk everything about the indies, his podcast with CM Punk, how it's changed since the podcast with CM Punk.
His interview with Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah, some great stuff and ramifications from his podcast.
Yeah,
as well. So we talk with him. 20 minutes on the show. Colt Cabana on the show with us here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. But back to NXT Cleveland. We're going to be announcing it in the final segment of the show. The 2 winners that will be hanging out with us. They each get 2 tickets. And that's Friday, March 6th here in Cleveland at the Agora. We're going to be there as media as well, getting some interviews to be playing in the future weeks. Also, we have our interview with DJ Z from TNA, who will be also on the show as well. So we have plenty of stuff to get into. Monday Night Raw, Steve, I thought was a above average Raw. The first hour was nonstop.
It's even better than above average, right? This is
Loved
good.
it.
It was good.
Well, my bar set high. Above average in this time of day and age for this show is excellent.
This was one of the best Monday Night Raws complete that they've had in some time.
It was the best Monday Night Raw in March so far.
It was the only Monday Night Raw in March.
Exactly.
So far, as we march onward to WrestleMania.
We are
no longer in the fast lane.
No.
We are now marching.
We are in the
to WrestleMania.
Not in the fast lane anymore. We are in the what do they call that? The highway.
The off ramp?
No, where that's it's on 271 here in Cleveland. They have
the
the
express the express lanes.
The express lanes. We are in the express. We're going straight to San Francisco.
Not the HOV carpool lane either, though.
No.
Okay.
Hove?
Yeah.
I always think H to the OV.
That's what I always think of. I was like, oh, only Jay-Z can drive in that lane?
I'm like, come on.
What's that about?
doesn't
I will
drive.
never reach that status.
Like I said, no Brock Lesnar. We never see a Paul Heyman. That's the big news surrounding this whole WrestleMania is Paul Heyman comes out, shoots from the hip.
And this is commonplace at this point in time, I feel like. It's not just with the marks reading. I mean, maybe it is, but mostly everybody knows Brock Lesnar did leave Monday Night Raw last week. What we now know is some sort of argument over contract negotiations, supposedly.
I think it's about that, and also probably about the UFC thing, because
he hadn't gone to UFC yet. Remember?
No, but
that's after.
I'm sure he asked, because CM Punk back in the day wanted to go to UFC and escort a guy to a ring. He was not allowed, but Triple H did it too, so he was allowed.
And the Undertaker did it.
Yeah, so I think the problem maybe contract, but also I think Brock officially asked him, "Hey, I'm going to go to UFC. I'm going to be there. Don't be surprised I'm going to be there."
Yeah.
Vince got upset. They probably shouted back and forth. Brock said, "F you, I'm going to be there anyway." And voila, he was there.
Looking sharp in a 3-piece suit. My man Brock Lesnar rocking the 3-piece, man, with the vest on
He
underneath.
should have trolled him and carrying the title back.
I wasn't sure if it was him, though, because I didn't see Jimmy John's anywhere. No sponsorship on that suit. So
Jimmy John.
Still don't know that it was him.
But still, Vince is not happy about it.
No.
Vince does not like his guy being shown on a but a other pay-per-view that's was bought pretty well.
But did you love Paul Heyman's shooting from the hip? He will not be here tonight.
Yeah.
He will be wherever he wants to.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. It was almost like Paul Heyman was saying F you, Vince McMahon, but
now the conspiracy theorist in me wants to believe that his mic being cut off twice with the first mic and then once with the second mic, replacement mic, when all the other segments of the show, their mics worked, their receivers worked.
well, they probably weren't using the same mics. They probably
they use
realized.
the same
I mean,
mics.
later on in the show, they probably realized, oh, hey, these 2 mics don't work. Get rid of them.
It was pretty late in the show, though. They had segments before that.
Well, maybe they just crapped out then.
I don't know. The conspiracy theorist says they tried to do a CM Punk and cut him off.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was trying to cut him off. Or
And
trying
that's
to,
why everybody started chanting CM Punk
Or-
right from the beginning of the show.
Or that was Vince McMahon's way of saying, hey, you better watch what you say.
Maybe.
Don't be saying anything stupid. I'm listening. This is my way of letting you know from the back. Shut your mouth.
I thought it was good, though. It was opposite of what we saw last week, where he kind of sucked up
God.
to Roman Reigns
That was awful.
before saying, you're not going to win.
And he said, and the one thing Paul Heyman said was, well, Stone Cold didn't object to what I said last week.
Yeah.
The Rock didn't.
Well, he was brutal. He's like,
God.
I didn't mention Andre the Giant because he's dead, you morons. And I'm like, whoa, easy, Paul. Even the hot Jersey crowd, who was all over everybody, were like, oh, really? Now you people care?
I would pay to see Paul Heyman in a WWE ring just talking for 3 hours. I think that would be a better Raw than what we've seen in the past 2 months. He's been
Maybe.
excellent.
That wasn't the only real life moment being brought into the ring this week, which was fun. Some, as we talk about conspiracy theories going back and forth, some things that we had last week, of course, trending on Twitter was hashtag Give Divas a Chance. Now, some people believe there was a very quick Divas match to help build this storyline and the return of one AJ Lee, who went a little bit back and forth with Stephanie. Some people think it was a work. Some people think now they have worked it into it, but it was very real. Either way, Mrs. Phil Brooks was back in the ring on Monday Night Raw.
She made a big impact teaming with Paige, take on the Bellas, and I'm sure that will be some kind of Wrestlemania match. It's going to be a
instead
tag
of the
team.
championship match, you think they just go tag team?
I think they're going to do tag team.
Okay.
I don't think you can take the belt off of Bellas without making that storyline not good. Paige deserves it, I think, but you can't not. If you make it the Paige, then what's the point of a storyline? I think you just can keep letting Paige continue to try to take the title away. But I think WrestleMania have the tag team match because what else will AJ do?
Look awesome.
Yes, she always does. Don't say that though. CM Punk, Mr. Phil Brooks. He's always listening.
Well, he has a very attractive wife.
Yes,
I think he knows that.
yes. Speaking of attractive, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair will be in town.
Yeah, this Friday
yeah,
for
this
NXT.
Friday.
Glenn's crushes here. New crushes in WWE.
So and we're giving away tickets as well, so make sure you still listen. At the end of the show, we're going to be pulling off a hat. There's so many people on Twitter and people who have been commenting on our on our iTunes and liking and subscribing that we have to get the old hat out.
Yeah,
with the paper.
We did. We wrote a bunch of names down. Now, if you gave us a review on iTunes and were tweeting at us all week, you have been entered in this little raffle multiple times. You put your name on a sheet
username,
a couple
names,
times.
Shaking the thing right here. See, that's the hat with the piece of paper in it.
Your hat is a box, but that's okay. We didn't have a hat We just had a.
We have your hat.
We
It's
have
your hat.
We have a big box. It doesn't have to be a hat, Glenn.
It is a hat.
All right, if you say so.
You said it was going to be a hat.
Well, I'm wearing my hat. I'm not giving you my hat.
This
Just
is
leave them in the
radio
box.
magic.
Just leave them in the box. I feel like a box is better. Then we can't see it, and then they won't fall out.
No one knows it's a box.
I just told them.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
Well, you know what? This is the reality
You
era,
are
Glenn.
the
This is the reality era.
You are the Francis Underwood of.
This is the
awesome
reality
wrestling.
era.
This is awesome. We're breaking.
You don't find anything I just did humorous? No?
Don't do that. No. Stop. Do not touch that at all. Do not
Just
make
ask-
me.
Just saying. All right. So anyway, back to the show as we digress here. Roman Reigns. Then we did see him a couple times. Did you like the very beginning? Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns coming out. And
I did not like this.
You didn't.
Because you know why? I'm going to be spoon-fed this Reigns versus Rollins thing for 10 more freaking years. This is going to be the new Randy Orton, John Cena, 10 years, back and forth, back and forth. This is going to be the main event of Raw in 2021, basically.
You know what I'm tired of? I have a news flash for all these people talking about being spoon-fed Roman Reigns.
What?
There are certain people in the WWE who have creative control. They have ultimate creative control. They determine what happens in storylines. Which means, oh, guess what, fans? Despite the fact that you kept saying, yes,
No.
yes,
They
yes,
control.
all last year.
They control.
All last year, there still had to be people who actually said yes that have the creative control, which meant you didn't know it, but they continued to spoon feed you, Daniel Bryan's. So much so that
They had to.
So much so were you spoon fed Daniel Bryan that you did not get one but two matches at WrestleMania.
Right.
When's the last time somebody had two matches at WrestleMania?
Well, he's an excellent wrestler. He was
I
way
mean,
over at the
I'm
time.
just
He
putting
still is
out
way
there.
over.
I'm just putting out there that you were spoon fed this.
Reigns was never over at all, ever.
That's not true.
He was the third guy in the Shield,
But people loved him as soon as the Shield broke up.
but he was never over like Daniel Bryan. Never.
Well,
It's because he's
a
being
catchy-
spoon-fed.
he's a
Then you
catchy
have The Rock
catchphrase.
come out, so you don't have to boo him because The Rock's coming out. He's forced into storylines against guys that are. Stephanie McMahon got cheered.
That's with John Cena.
Yeah, but in promos she's gotten cheered. The Authority's gotten cheered when Reigns has been in the ring.
I mean, the Jersey crowd was hostile. Let's be fair.
It's been awful. This guy has the look. He cannot talk at all. He sucks at promos. And he has 3 moves.
I still
and
will
all of them
say-
consider was with a clothesline.
What
or
about
a
the
punch.
tilt-a-whirl slam?
Oh my God! Once, and then he steals a Sin Cara move.
He's got a spear.
He steals a move from Sin Cara.
Which one was that?
The one off the top rope where he flips it back into like a sitting power bomb.
Oh yeah, he's also got the one-arm power bomb.
That's Sin
He's got
Cara's
the
move.
Samoan.
Poor Sin Cara.
He's got the Samoan.
He already has no
slam.
face.
And
No,
then
he
he's
has no
got
moves.
He's got that little move on the run on the outside. He drops the drop kick there.
I
on
don't
the outside.
I don't like obvious things. It was not obvious that Daniel Bryan was going to win at WrestleMania 30. It wasn't as obvious as
I
Roman
don't
Reigns.
know.
You know Reigns is going to win.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't know.
Lesnar's not coming back. He's gone.
Well, that's the debate, I guess.
He's not resigning. He's going to UFC.
He's gonna go fight.
He's not going to be WWE anymore. Vince and him fight on the road to WrestleMania. Heated discussion. You know Reigns is going to win. Now the question is, does he leave WrestleMania as a champion,
Or does Seth Rollins cash in?
or Seth Rollins cash it in?
I don't know. Seth Rollins is getting better and better at being a heel. I mean, he
Oh.
was good before, but
He is.
he's
the best.
he's hit that he's got that air now, that air of cockiness about him. You know, saying he's better than Jon Stewart in The Daily Show, better than Wiz Khalifa at rapping. I did think that was fun.
I know one song from that guy. I don't.
I don't know.
Only
that I
reason why
know.
he's on Raw is because him and Cena did a song together.
But I thought that was great, just mocking everybody and anything. He said there was somebody else too. I don't remember what it was, but that was pretty funny. I was like, I don't think you even know how to do that. I did enjoy Roman Reigns' reactions to that, though. It was just, I still would like, in fairness, if Vince McMahon has been writing these scripts, word for word, and that's why we hate a Roman Reigns promo. Just once, I would like to find out if Roman Reigns cuts a promo that he did it himself or had a hand in writing it, whatever the case may be. And then we could be like, oh, it sucked, or actually, he was pretty entertaining right then. And I'd like to know whether it was him or Vince. And I wanted to be him, I guess. And then we could judge him on whether or not he sucks on the mic. I don't know.
I don't see it. You just don't have the charisma. I'm sure Vince writes promos for Seth Rollins, for Ambrose. I'm sure he writes promos, or at least it has a big involvement. I mean, I know he does. Doesn't mean...
If Vince McMahon is writing Bray Wyatt's promos for The Undertaker, Vince McMahon is hands down the most brilliant and entertaining guy in the world.
I know for a fact Vince he has his hands on every single promo.
I mean...
Do you know who... when JBL talks, do you know who's feeding him lines?
Yeah, and that disappoints me.
It's all Vince.
He amuses me
Sorry,
when
fans,
he's out
but
there.
that's not JBL.
Oh, who's breaking the fourth wall now?
I'm just telling the truth.
Kayfabe.
It's already out there anyway. But Vince has his hand in everything.
He's got it in the cookie
he's
jar.
Trying to force it with all these little giddy promos. And
You know what Vince McMahon doesn't have his hand in?
what?
Our hat/box for the raffle for NXT winners. Just a reminder, please listen to the whole show. Colt Cabana interview coming up later. And then we will draw winners for the NXT Cleveland show happening this Friday. All right. What else we have on Raw?
And make sure to listen to our Adrian Neville interview.
Oh, yeah. That was great. Also on Raw, we did learn about the IC title picture.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be an epic match.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I was that excited about 6 names in a ladder match. I wouldn't be ordinarily excited about Luke Harper being in it, but now that we've already seen what he can do in a ladder match,
yeah.
you know he's going to be entertaining in it.
Yeah.
Because you know how he's going to perform in that.
And
I mean, those 6 guys, that's going to be great.
R-Truth has been off TV for so long. He stepped up and really been
He's been entertaining.
Amazing on TV.
Yeah.
And he stepped up as well. Dean Ambrose has been terrific. Poor Wade Barrett. I mean, he's come back from injury.
Right.
He didn't lose his title from losing cleanly. He lost it because he was injured.
Yeah.
Then he comes back. He gets the title back, and he hasn't won in how many weeks on any kind of
Not
match?
at all.
So but Ziggler's going to be excellent. Daniel Bryan is going to be excellent. R-Truth has been gold. This is going to be a great, great match. I think it might be able to steal WrestleMania as match on the card.
Dean Ambrose in there.
Yeah.
It is a different feel. You know, we always talk about how there's a throwaway match where it's like, oh, they just put a bunch of people in there just because they couldn't figure out what to do with them on the card. This doesn't have that feel. This has the feel of this is going to be an epic match. You know, when you think back to like, and this is a moment for someone, you know, Shelton Benjamin, you remember that name because of some of the original Money in the Bank ladder matches at WrestleMania. Other than that, it's not like he had some incredible career. Yeah, it was a great tag team champion to watch. But he has a WrestleMania moment. This is the kind of match that you can have a WrestleMania moment and where a WrestleMania legend is made. I'm excited.
That's going to be a good match. It's going to be really, really good to see. And I'm liking it, how they mixed up this, it's a lot of singles matches. We know Rollins and Orton are going to be going at each other. You know, Lesnar and Reigns. So breaking up and having, 6 guys that have really stole the show in the past few weeks in their own match, able to do their own thing, and you add in the whole ladder aspect of it. Like you said, it's bound to steal the show and really make a really, really good WrestleMania moment.
Now you bring up Orton and Rollins.
Yeah.
At what point do we see Randy Orton turn officially on the Authority?
I like it because it builds anticipation.
Yeah.
It teases it. Because I think if they would have done one last week, Orton versus Rollins, I don't think there's much you can do from a straight, the guys are facing off on each other, to now because they're teasing it. Orton's helping Rollins win. Orton's kind of going back and forth. It's better than this having Orton go out there and RKO everybody. It's teasing it. It's teasing the climax of the rivalry, and next week maybe he'll do it 2 weeks from now.
Yes, you just keep wondering.
There's 3 Raws left, so he has to do it sometime coming up.
I do love the fact that, in case you missed it, folks, with Jon Stewart being on, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins opened up the show, calling out Jon Stewart, then did his own little daily show. Jon Stewart shows up, and he's about to get a beat down from J&J Security, and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton shows up.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, not really coming out to attack Rollins. Just asking him, like, hey, man, don't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
And then Jon Stewart goes all NBA's James Harden on Seth Rollins and kicks him in the groin.
Great. And then Rollins goes down. Stewart doesn't give a frig about anything. He's waving his jacket around. And what was great about Jon Stewart is that he's not there to promote anything.
No, he was
not there like Hove and
he was just
Kathy
there to
Lee.
promote this moment. See, that was what I was going to debate with you. I thought that they were the best Monday Night Raw
You gotta
cast.
be kidding me.
I love me some Hoda and Kathy Lee.
Hoda? I don't even know.
Hoda
Kotb.
Kotb.
Terrible. But people know who Jon Stewart is.
They do.
He's funny.
And he's from Jersey, so they really love that.
And he's great on the mic. And then he knows wrestling. He knows the history.
Yeah.
So he gained a lot of respect, and I hope they bring him back for something. Maybe WrestleMania, something. Bring him back because, like I said, he knows his wrestling. He's respected, and it's good celebrity pub for WWE as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And WWE needs some good publicity.
Some
every
celebrities.
once in a while. Yeah.
There's nothing celebrity-wise
I was just
going
gonna
on.
say, we don't have, in years past, we haven't had that much of a celebrity presence at WrestleMania. You had P. Diddy, I guess, in New York.
Yeah.
And then prior to that,
Miami was Maria
Flo Rida.
Moronos, the entertainment girl. She was in a match.
She was in a match in Atlanta.
No, she was matching Miami.
Oh, Atlanta was Snooki.
Yes,
that's
Snooki.
right.
So we've had this celebrity. What was last year? Who was the celebrity last year?
I don't know. Last year, let's see, we were in New Orleans.
They had like Flo Rida for Miami too.
Yeah, Flo Rida with MGK.
Yeah,
opening for John
Cena.
Who was the only person going crazy. I don't recall. I guess that was my point. Because even the P. Diddy thing at WrestleMania in New York wasn't anything grand.
No. Just
a quick little thing. And that was it. It's not like he had a big part of it.
Miami was long because you had Maria wrestle, then you have Flo Rida.
Right.
And then MGK sing the respective songs for each of the guys. The Rock. That was a lot.
Cool. That was a big deal.
Last year, I'm not sure who was backstage. Nobody was backstage or anything.
No, I just had Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold and The Rock stealing the show at the very beginning of it.
But nothing celebrity. So, but hey, maybe they'll add something for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I miss some of the pop and circumstance when somebody special, like the Patti LaBelle sang the national anthem once before.
Yeah.
Something like that. I miss that grandiose environment of really feeling like WrestleMania is, the grandest stage of them all.
Kind of, Super Bowl feel like it.
Yeah.
The way that it was born with.
Right. That was always the thing. This is wrestling Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And, you don't have your Cyndi Laupers there. Something like that. I don't know if Jon Stewart will be a part of WrestleMania, but that'd be great.
They did. There was whispers of MMA, UFC fighters being at WrestleMania. There are a couple of guys. Their names elude me, but going to possibly be there as well. So, but no big time celebrities geared up.
We'll be there.
Yes.
You could put us on. We would. If they want us to be.
Oh yeah.
They want to invite us to be the celebrities.
I'll take a bump.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would take any chair shot.
Sure.
I will go over. I will gladly let Reigns go over.
I will go through the Spanish announce table.
I will too.
Not a problem.
RKO me out of nowhere. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
That's fine. See that ladder right there? I have no problem falling off of it.
All right, let's go to our interview for this week. Colt Cabana, our interview from him with him on Friday 2 weeks ago. We talked with him at AIW here in Cleveland. A great interview, 20 minutes of gold with Colt Cabana. Make sure to check him out on the Art of Wrestling podcast, which is on iTunes, and check out his website. And he's around the area doing wrestling independent shows, and he's a great interview. So here's our interview with Colt Cabana right here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show.
Boom boom, Colt Cabana. Boom boom, Colt Cabana. Boom boom, Colt Cabana. It's Colt Cabana. Straight out of the shy, Mr. Shake and Bake 45.
Guest of the show right now on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show is Mr. Colt Cabana, a man that many people know.
Are you the only microphone up?
Well, we're having some technical difficulties.
Oh, what happened to number 2?
So
I've got some microphones. Do you want? We can start over. You can use my mic. I got a mic over here.
It's the Bach. It's our USB.
Man.
So
Yikes.
you are a Mr. Podcast guy.
Yeah, I got my equipment here. You
Art
know
of
Dennis
Wrestling.
Stamp is upstairs. You know I'm podcasting with Dennis Stamp.
We want to podcast with you, man, because
Yeah.
your podcast. Listen every week. Listen
Thank
to
you
your
very
show,
much.
and obviously you made some big headlines. Even your one of your good friends, CM Punk. Now you were well known before the interview. You're getting tons of downloads. What has changed since then? Because
I'll be honest. The downloads have gone down.
since that,
Yeah. So what happened was the RSS. He blew up my internet.
yeah,
And the you guys would know this jargon. So the RSS feed got screwed up.
right.
And so I had to change it over, and I started using SoundCloud. And so what happened was, everyone who had subscribed before like stopped getting the episodes like after the Dr. Tom episode, Tom Pritchard, which was something went like 2 punks, and then like Dr. Tom Pritchard was next, and then like for some reason it all got shut down. And so like the next week, like after the punk. That one was huge, and then all of a sudden, like that's when the RSS feed got switched over.
Yeah.
And then like so like a lot of people they think I just stopped podcasting. Yeah.
We had the same problem though, because we had Seth Rollins on the show.
Yeah.
And he talked about Punk leaving, and it was a big deal, and it hit all the dirt sheets and whatnot. And we just started out. I mean, it was a few weeks in, and all the downloads from the interview, it stopped our feed. We couldn't post any more shows because we used up our bandwidth for the month. So we totally get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it's good, but then it's bad because then you wake up at 2 a.m. and you realize that your feed or your website's down, and you have to kind of rush.
You got to understand, I did this on Thanksgiving, so like, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm bugging everybody during their Thanksgiving, and like, I felt so bad. Like the tech guys and this guy Dane Miller, who works with Earwolf and Midroll, and I'm bugging him, and I don't even owe him. I don't even pay him money, and he's just helping me out to be cool, and it's just like. I felt awful about it. So, but I mean, obviously, it's great awareness for my show, but the key was just to let him talk.
It's cool. Out of all the wrestlers that there are, you have WWE, TNA, big name promotions, but yet you are a guy who was just chosen for Rolling Stone to interview.
Yeah.
How cool was that? I mean, I don't know if you were a Rolling Stone reader growing up. I was, because I was big into music, but sometimes they kind of cross and go elsewhere outside of music, and you happen to be one of the...
Yeah, well, the nicer thing is that the guy who wrote the article, Adam Kelly, he goes, I've done articles with Jericho, I've done articles with Austin, with Jim Ross, and he starts naming off these guys. He goes, your article has done the most traction I've ever seen. Like... He said, Rolling Stone can't believe what's going on. I feel that's the story of my life, along with, a YouTube clip that Cliff Compton and I did. We did a commercial for KFC, and we got 1 million views, and KFC was like, what's going on? And it's the power of the internet and the power of there's something with me, I guess, that's sympathetic, I think, to so many people. And in this article, it's kind of always tapped in is that I was set up to fail, and I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And for some reason, I stuck with it, and I didn't let the idea that you'll be Scotty Goldman, that's all you'll ever be, is a guy who loses to Brian Kendrick in 2 minutes, and I wouldn't allow it to happen. And so I think it's almost a better story than, hi, my name's Steve Austin, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
Please feel for me. Like everyone loves, how can you not love Steve Austin? He was my idol growing up. He was so many idols growing up.
Right.
And I know he claims to be a working man, but it's very hard to like, I'm literally a guy in a crappy studio apartment in Chicago, like trying to get by. And I happen to be good at what I do as a wrestler, I feel, in my own humble opinion. And I think that's in our generation, for us, like, Vince McMahon talks down upon it, calls it the millennials, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So for Steve's generation, it was beer drinking dudes.
Right.
Yeah. And my generation is the internet kid, the BuzzFeed list lookers,
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome story because you have all these people who, I mean, not just in wrestling, but anywhere in the world, and they think, well, in order to quote unquote make it, you really have to go out and you got to do this and you got to be in such and such company to do whatever it is that you want to do to be at the top of it. But yet here you are, you're traveling all over the world, and people want you at these independent wrestling circuits, and you don't have to have the big company name behind you with your backing. You are your own brand, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm an exception to a rule but I really like that was when I started the podcast almost 5 years ago. That was my big thing was that we as the wrestlers don't need to have WWE to make us pro wrestlers. And maybe I say that a little bit because I just been fired and like I wanted to stay alive. Maybe, who knows? But I was trying to start some kind of movement. But before I got to WWE, I made a living as an independent wrestler. I took a pay cut to go to WWE, to go in their developmental system, thinking it would pay off. It would be an investment. And Sami Zayn and I talked a lot about this before he got signed because he was the same way.
Yeah,
it was working out for him. And I thought maybe that would be my path. So I knew I could make a living going out of WWE, and I knew, and knowing that I could make a living, that's all I ever wanted to do. I saw the potential in like making a real good living, and that's what I was going for when saying like, "Hey, we don't need a system behind us. We could do our own thing. We are stars. We are." Especially the way that the independent circuit is like this great, like because everything I do is based off of comedy. And like I'm such an alternative comedy wrestling fan, an alternative comedy fan, and like I see those guys as stars, and some of those guys who have like 1,000 Twitter followers, I'm in awe of them as comedians and artists, And so like I know if as me as a fan, if I'm in awe of them, then I know it could be the same as me as a wrestler for a fan out there of wrestling. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like we are still stars, even though we don't have a big machine pushing us.
Great. Now I have to ask because I do stand-up comedy here in Cleveland.
Oh, cool.
Favorite comics?
I mean, I have so many. Kyle Kinane always comes up. There's a whole Chicago scene, and I don't know.
I've got buddies that moved from Cleveland to Chicago just to
there
try
you go.
and get in on the scene.
Yeah. So, there's a Chicago scene that's moved out to L.A. and like you think about like Kumail Nanjiani, Kyle Kinane, Pete Holmes, Matt Bronger.
Yeah.
And there's a slew of them that went out and that's like a guys I think of right away. And of course, Maron's a big influence and
absolutely.
Mark Maron.
Like a Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah.
Great live.
Yeah.
None of these dorky wrestling fans listening to this podcast are gonna know what we're talking about right now, Glenn. I apologize.
They can go, but there's so many that love pro wrestling, and that's been a great like. I'll name a few of it. Like Ron Funches is a guy who's an amazing comedian who loves pro wrestling, and Taylor Williamson is a guy who was second on America's Got Talent. Is a huge wrestling fan and a friend of mine. And there's a lot of comedians out there who love wrestling.
Well, it's because I have to admit, most of us grew up watching it and loving it, and like that's why you got into comedy because all it is really is just us cutting promos.
Sure.
But we just were never athletic enough.
Right.
Yeah.
You talk about you're obviously happy with what you're doing. You're a successful podcast. You're traveling the world, the country. You're gaining a big following.
You should go. I'm going to teach you a little lesson. You should go country then world. You don't want to say you don't want to start like zooming it down. You want to build.
I'm
a
USA kind of guy. Save the best for last.
Fair enough.
But what is next for you? I mean, do you want to try for WB again, or is that avenue closed? I don't think you're happy with what you're doing.
I think it's a reality that will never be a reality. So I like just doing what I'm doing, and I booked a television part in LA, and like since this Rolling Stone thing came out, a lot of people have kind of reached out to me for cool opportunities, and I'd like to mesh the world of comedy and wrestling. Like I have, and I'd like that to bring that to a bigger scale. And I think that's the way I'd be able to kind of break into some of these markets outside of the wrestling world, again with the goal to bring them back into my world of independent, just shitty armory wrestling, man. It's the best. Shitty armory wrestling is just the best.
Because you have a big following and people know who you are and you're Rolling Stone, and do you feel like you are a big fish in a small pond, or you're comfortable where you're at? And
it's funny because I've got a nice notoriety now, and I'll come to shows and I'll have a nice little line, and I'll be like, I built this line in this gimmick table, for these people to come and support me.
Yeah.
And then I'll just look over and I'll see like Scotty Too Hottie with like 10,000 people like like waiting to get his autograph. Yeah, right. Yeah, Ooh. Yeah. So like that's not that those are reality checks, but that's the idea of like I'm niche, So I'm never going to be a big fish in a small pond because I'm very niche, and I am what I am, and I'm very proud and happy with that. And I always it's always on my mind, poor me, woe is me. I've never made it, or I've never had my honky tonk man gimmick, which is something I've talked about. I've always wanted. And so many people are always like, you've built this thing, it's fine. But then you always look over and you just see the boogeyman, people can't believe he's there. And they want his autograph. They want to shell out all this money and get a picture with him. And it's like, oh, that's a guy who trained for 6 months. And then just was put on TV and was made just a worldwide star.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I obviously understand it's all in the journey, and the journey's been long, and
yeah,
every $20 payday and every time sleeping in your car has made me the man who I am.
Now, me being 31 years old, and we would talk about this for 2 weeks, and I had Johnny Gargano on the show. He's local here in Cleveland. He has AIW, and he's an instructor, and I always wanted to try to be a professional wrestler.
Okay.
I feel like I reach 50 years old, I'm going to regret not trying it.
Sure.
And doing the conditioning and doing everything. I know I'm not the greatest in shape, but I know I could. My heart would be in it enough to where if I gave it my hardest and I couldn't do it, at least I know I tried.
Okay.
What would be advice for someone that would want to try professional wrestling?
Go do it. Go do it.
Yeah.
What do you want? Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Sure, go.
Well, yeah.
But if you wait, a year and you do a year in the gym to go try to get in shape to do it, it's just by the time it's a year, you've lost a year. It's just. Go get involved, get messed up, and you'd say this. Agree with me with stand up. It's just I listen to my comedy partner Marty DeRosa just tell stories about how he went to open mics for years, being I don't think I can do it, and it's just open mics, But at that time, you're open mics. These guys are legends, because you haven't even gone. So it's the same. You're these guys are unbelievable. I can't believe they're running the ropes. It's amazing, but. Once you just jump in it, it's a great community. The wrestling community is very, as long as you pay respect and don't be a dipshit, just jump in.
I'm good friends with Jerry the King Lawler and The Miz, who's local here in Cleveland.
You dropped both of those, by the way.
I did.
You might want to pick those up.
I have to. I have to
grab
them.
those.
I have to drop them. But they say the same thing. Go for it. Do it. And if it turns out to be something,
I can give you hours and hours of advice once you're in it and you have questions about it.
Yeah.
But to start, just go start. Sure.
What? Why a podcast? And why did you start it? What was the premise behind it? And did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would be one of the top downloaded podcasts?
I kind of did. I know that sounds awful, but because comedy podcasting, when I started listening in 2009, was starting to blow up, and you could see the trend happening, and you could see Hardwick, who no one really cared about, all of a sudden becoming a thing.
Oh yeah, the Nerdist, yeah.
Yeah, and you could see Mark Maron, who no one knew about, becoming a thing, and you could see the trend, you could see the wave, and then I was I started mine in 2010, and I still listen to about 25 to 30 podcasts a week. Addicted. I love it. It's my form of.
It's nice when you're driving around.
Everything.
It kills the time.
Everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even airplanes, working out, before bed, when I wake up, checking my email, everything. And especially a guy who travels as much as I do. So I just knew that this would be a thing in wrestling. I knew wrestling would be 5 years behind the time, like they are for everything. And so I knew when I started in 2010 that because people loved them in comedy, this style of a podcast that I was doing, how could you not like it? There's nothing like it going on in wrestling. Wrestler to wrestler talk in person, not over the phone. I think I can name a couple guys. The Pitbull was doing one. Pitbull 1 maybe, or Pitbull 2. Gary Wolf was doing one, and Jimmy Rave was doing one for a little bit, but nothing as long. Nothing had longevity, and nothing really with a good production line.
And now everybody is
and now everyone does.
Everybody who was big in the 90s, like Ric Flair is going to have one now.
Yeah.
Austin, Jim Ross. I mean, the rest goes on with these guys, and
they
already have a following, so it's easy. You get a microphone. They have a Rolodex of just guests they can.
Well, and that's why mine was popular off the bat. Not as popular as I knew once everybody else would start. Yeah. Once WWE, and I brought the idea of the WWE, and they told me, we're a visual product.
Well,
we're not
you
an
were Scotty
audio
Goldman,
product.
no thanks.
But I know there was people in wrestling podcasting that wasn't a big thing, but the ones that were upset because I was getting a lot of downloads at the time. Nothing compared to what I get now, but I had built 12, 13 years of busting my butt, going around from town to town, getting this audience. And that's the thing. It's like I did the hard work getting an audience. And so now I was able to grab that audience instead of going from one armory to another and Dayton to Louisville to Minneapolis. Like I could just put it out for the world to hear. So I knew that everyone would be following. I'm surprised it took them that long. And I think it's cool now. You know, obviously there's different things about mine. But, you know, I like all the dudes out now, none of them are still active wrestlers. They're all millionaires. You know, so like
it's just like a boring hobby for them.
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. My perspective is completely different. Not even whether it is a boring hobby or not, but my perspective is completely different.
Right.
Because I'm still trying to quote unquote make it. You know, and you can hear my journey every week, and the way I talk to people is different than the way Jericho or Stone Cold or Jim Ross talks to people, and I think that's the sell. Because you get on people's Twitter, when are you gonna have this guy? This guy had that guy, and it's not about the guest. It's about the interaction between the guests.
Yeah, you say you're still trying to make it. At this point, with where you are, because you're so kind of popular on your own, like I know you want to have like a TV gimmick, you had said, but is it kind of easier and nicer to be able to go independent circuit to independent circuit, and so you don't have to be a character, like you're you.
Yeah.
And that's great. So I mean, I guess at this point, what is making it for you?
I don't know. Like I've said this a lot. It's almost like maybe I'm looking for justification. Like, you know, that's what happened for and I'm a big. I love the ones that have come before me. You know, it's very romantic to me. So what happened in the past for the past 40 years is if you were good, you became a TV star.
Yeah.
No one's ever been like so good and not been a TV star. So now I'm in this weird generation where if you're fine, I'm good. I'm an internet star, and maybe that's what it is now. But it's hard because I'm like the first one to be like.
Where do you go? I guess.
Well, I'm the first one was where being an internet star is fine as opposed to being a TV star.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my head is like it would be nice that I could be a TV star. But the reality is maybe I'll be the first internet star, and that'll be fine. And then 20 years from now, people will be like, I wish I'm an internet star, you know?
Do you see, because I mean, you're trying to cross over with entertainment as well. And we talk about, so comedians with podcasts. Mark Maron's got his own show. He's got it going on. Chris Hardwick we talked about, and he's got At Midnight happening. What is the Colt Cabana show? If somebody comes to you and say, you know what, fine, you want to do this wrestling and TV and entertainment thing happen, pitch it to me.
I think it's fine. I don't want to pitch anything to you because I don't feel that I have to.
I'm not going to get you anywhere. Yeah.
I don't feel I have to. I'm happy with what I'm doing. But, you know, I do a project called $5 Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think it belongs on Adult Swim or IFC or something awesome like that. And like that would be a dream for a situation like that. And I've talked to different people about feelers, about how I go about it. And it's hard because we're in this bubble that's very isolated.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, with Rolling Stone and being on Maron's podcast and doing stuff with Second City in Chicago, it's like I'm trying to bust out a little bit so I can show this world a different place. But the $5 Wrestling is so much fun and it's so awesome. And I think it would really be captivated by mainstream. And that's kind of my goal.
Wrapping up here quickly. If there's one guy that you haven't had on your podcast that you would just love to get, maybe it's like the white whale. It's out there, but
Robbie Brooks. When I went down to do NXT, they brought me in for 3 weeks in a row to make me a commentator, and then the stuff with Punk went down. And then the next day, they told me they weren't interested in me anymore. What? So, but I was supposed to do stuff with Robbie Brookside, and it just never happened. And Robbie's a guy I've desperately wanted to have on my show. He's the fucking coolest, man. Robbie Brookside's awesome, and so many stories, so many tales. He's like, you know, if I'm a thing, he's the original me almost, man. And if you've never seen the Brookside Diaries, go on YouTube and watch it. And just kind of like the Wrestling Road Diaries, it was, you know, it was a lot of it was influenced by the Brookside Diaries, especially, you know, not just me, but you know, Daniel Bryan trained under Robbie Brookside at a very young age, and he was very influential on Daniel Bryan, as he was for me, as those diaries were for me too. So Robbie would be my favorite get.
Colt, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. I know our little greeting was not.
Yeah,
it's kind of awkward,
it's
but
okay. It's okay. I appreciate it. My podcast is The Art of Wrestling on iTunes. ColtCabana.com is where you can get everything. And if you want to support, I am not contacted by any. I'm not contracted by anybody. It's all hand to mouth. So ColtMerch.com is the best way to do it.
Another great interview right here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Colt Cabana, we thank him for coming on the show.
Yeah, it was great meeting him, as awkward as it was.
If you listen to the whole interview, which I assume you did listen to this now, we explain our first meeting with him. But he's a great independent wrestler, a guy that's been on WWE, and he talks about the whole fallout from the podcast with CM Punk, but also his indie career, some comedy. But he's a great guy that if you try and build something on your own, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
And he continues to have great success, and a great guy, and we hope to talk to him again when
he
he comes
super
back
nice
to Cleveland.
dude, too. Really enjoyed talking to him.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to him a little bit, too, just briefly later that night. Thanked
Yeah.
him again. Nice guy. It was cool. We had a lot of fun that night. As
Yeah.
we keep going back to it. And speaking of that night, and all the interviews that we've had recently as fallout from the AIW, if you are a TNA fan and you've been watching recently, you may have noticed 2 of our previous interviews.
Yes. Squaring off.
One-on-one. We had EC3 going up against the Scottish sensation, Grado.
Yes. Two awesome interviews. Grado was on. If you guys can go back on iTunes, listen to the interview. A great interview with both those guys. But did they square it off? And Grado's been on TNA a little bit more frequently here.
Yeah.
And obviously, AC3 is more of a staple on TNA, but they
Sure.
squared off.
Okay, so that was fun. What else? Did we miss anything going back to Monday Night? I mean, this was jam-packed Monday Night
We
Raw.
missed
we
the
missed
great commercial.
Niagara.
Pure comedy gold.
Yeah.
And this rivalry between Miz and Mizdow is slowly building up.
So rare. I don't know if it's going to be at
After it's-
WrestleMania.
No, I don't think so. But
Kickoff show?
I think maybe Mizdow will win the Battle Royal by throwing out Miz, maybe?
It could be.
That could
would
be
be
something
good.
to end it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be nice.
And then Sandow comes back as him, and he, brags about winning, and
Yeah.
they could do a feud with Sandow versus Miz.
Take that. Sure.
I would take that. So I'm sure something will happen that will end or slowly be the end of this matchup between these two guys, because they're teasing it, but it has to be some kind of big
Yeah.
thing
no,
at WrestleMania.
No Goldust Stardust this past week, though. That I recall.
That's true too.
Yeah. But that's okay. We get it. We know where that's going.
SmackDown, Raw.
SmackDown,
There's
sure,
3 of the
that'll
Raws
happen.
left. I don't know what else you can do much with that instead of having Cody come back. I mean,
Right.
we've already teased the family thing. Does his Cody a match. That's cost him a match.
Triple H. I had to comment on this just because I have a very dear friend who absolutely hates Triple H, and I could not stop laughing because his moment of hating Triple H really grew from backstage rumors of Triple H burying Booker T.
Yeah.
And then here on Monday Night Raw, you have Triple H fake firing Booker T. That was a fun moment too.
That was
poor Booker.
It's unique. You never seen that happen. I mean,
No, he said,
recent
but
mind.
come on back.
And I was thinking, Jerry's going to come back. I was kind of pumped, like, yes, Jerry. And then I'm like, Booker, okay. I like Booker, but I don't, his commentary isn't the best. But they're still gelling.
And then, just real quick, we had, again, as previously mentioned, an excellent Bray Wyatt promo, still building towards what looks to be a casket match more and more.
That fire was weak. And they cut away from that fire. That thing burned out quick.
Yeah.
And they cut away quick. I wish they would have had more of a fire. I was hoping some lightning would come down and strike the casket, officially having the Undertaker accept the challenge.
Right,
from
still
Bray
no
Wyatt.
response from the Undertaker.
So will he be there?
This could be one of those rare moments where he just suddenly shows up.
But there'd be no match scheduled. So how would Bray know that he's going to be wrestling?
That'd be like a promo.
Something has to happen. There's 3 Raws left. Something has to happen.
Yeah.
For them to acknowledge the Undertaker is going to accept.
But we still
this
need
challenge.
we still need to set that.
Yeah, something's going to happen.
And anything else we missed there from Raw?
Okay,
John,
hold on.
John Cena.
They're
and
teasing this
Rusev?
John Cena thing that he doesn't have a match.
Yeah.
We're not idiots. Of course he's going to have a match.
John
at
Cena's no
WrestleMania.
Dennis Stamp.
I mean, come on. He's not booked, but he is going to be booked very shortly.
We're pretty certain he'll be booked.
It's ridiculous. We're not idiots. That kind of upsets me a little bit there. I
Yeah.
did like it how the Jersey crowd was cheering Stephanie and booing Cena.
Right.
I love that.
Well,
And then Curtis Axel.
Axelmania. Can't believe we
forget him.
forgot about Axelmania. I'm on board with Axelmania. I love it.
That would be amazing if somehow Axelmania is intertwined with WrestleMania and he has a major part, which I think he will at the Royal Rumble, the Royal
The Battle
match,
Royal. Yeah.
whatever.
The Andre the Giant.
He's going to be involved with that. I hope that something unique happens with that. But then again, the whole Miz Mizdow thing, I would rather have that happen.
What if they let Axelmania body slam the Big Show during the Andre the
What's going to
Giant?
happen to Big Show and Kane? They're going to be involved in that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And they I've seen some rumors that Mr. Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry will be involved in that. If he comes back as Sexual Chocolate, I would love it.
I'm going to give it all to you.
All right. The moment that everybody's
Here we
been
go.
waiting for.
Get your hat box out.
We are now going to draw the winners here of our NXT 2 pairs of tickets.
Here we go.
All right, first winner.
Well, first of all, they're going to be hanging with us all evening.
All evening?
Before the show, yeah.
All right. Well, yes, here's the thing. We will be there before the show.
Yeah, hanging out.
In the cafe.
The backstage.
Backstage cafe there at the Agora. What we're going to have? Pizza?
Don't make any promises
Anything?
you can't keep, buddy.
Beer? I don't know.
We're gonna
There'll
be able,
stuff there.
We're
There'll
gonna
be
be
things you
there.
could
There's
buy,
stuff
but
there.
we'll
You'll
be
be hanging
there.
out with us.
Yeah.
You have a private entrance to the show. You're not gonna be waiting in the long line or have your own little
So that'd be
entrance
cool.
to the show. Tickets are involved. Hanging out with us the whole evening, the pre-show, hanging out with us, and you might maybe meet some NXT superstars. You might. We can't guarantee it.
Oh, all I said was pizza. You're throwing
But you
out
might.
NXT superstars.
You might.
Wow, way to set the
We're
bar
gonna
high
try
on that
hard
one.
to do it. So.
Way to not piss somebody off before they even got there.
Well,
My
they've
goodness.
No, these people have been begging for these tickets all week.
All right, in my hand, I
All
have
right.
our first winner.
All right, hold on. Let me shake it up a little bit. All right.
All right, now I can grab it. I guess I lied. It wasn't in my hand yet. But all right, so we have. Oh, here we go. This guy's been on us all week about tickets. He's on Twitter. Jingle Toes, Jingle Toes Jim. You are our first winner for 2 tickets going to NXT Cleveland this Friday. He wants to yell at Mojo. He said.
All right. This is the last pair of tickets we have.
This one's all you.
Hang out with us. Oh, they're flying out. Make sure I put that person back in.
Yeah.
Want to gyp that person? God, there's so many. So many comments. Tweets. This one goes out to Gia on Twitter. She's been tweeting at us. She will be going with us as well. She gets 2 tickets.
All right. Oh, we got
So,
a guy and a girl.
Guy and a girl.
I don't
2
know.
sets.
I haven't done my social media background, so hey,
Please don't kill us.
if you two kids are don't do that. Don't be creeps and kill us. Maybe creep on each other. What's her thing? NetGia, is that her
Yes.
Twitter handle?
Yes, it is.
And Jingle Toes. If you guys want to creep on each other, I don't know. Maybe you 2 kids are both single. Maybe you're not. Maybe I'm just throwing
I
throwing
think you should stop.
caution to the wind. Maybe we're trying. To
I'm
make
more
it nice.
concerned about our well-being, buddy.
Oh, I was trying to make a little match.
You don't
there.
know these people.
That's
This
true.
is what happens.
Well, you each have 2 tickets, so certainly bring someone. Let's make this night fun and as awkward as we can. That's what I'm all about.
It's wrestling. It's professional wrestling, NXT style.
I am excited. It's gonna be a great show.
It's
Though.
going to get great. We're going to be, like you said, we're going to be there 5 to 6:30, and then the show starts later, and the doors open after 7:30. So you have an hour and a half with us, hanging out with us.
And if you didn't win the tickets, you could still come by and see us at the backstage cafe.
tweet
I
at
mean, it's
us.
going to be open.
Yeah.
Tweet at us. Come hang out. Come see us. Come say hello. Talk about the show. Tell us we suck. Or whatever you want to do.
anything.
Yeah.
Just no photos.
Yeah. No eye contact.
No eye contact either. All right. We will talk to you guys next week. We're going to have some interviews with some NXT stars, hopefully, next week. We still have our interview with DJ Z from TNA coming up in the coming weeks as well. And WrestleMania, only 3 Raws left. And we're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania in San Jose at Levi Stadium. It's going to be great.
Santa Clara.
Well, San Jose is where everything's going to be happening.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be staying in San Jose.
Oh, all right.
The show's in Santa Clara,
Fair enough.
but Raw is going to be in San Jose.
WrestleMania play button.
And don't say WrestleMania 31. Vince doesn't like that.
No, it sounds old.
Don't
No,
be
you can still say it. You just can't write it in
Don't try to
Roman
be
numerals.
humorous, all right?
Can't write it in Roman numerals.
Don't try to be a funny guy.
Sorry.
All right?
All right.
Bring the donuts next time.
Jelly donuts.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week right here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show on
CLE Sound.